Welcome to the How to Make Friends podcast with me, Gemma Scopes, speaker, award-winning blogger, friendship coach, and your new biggest cheerleader. This is a podcast for women that know how it feels to be lonely, for women that want to become their own best friend, and for women that want to build their own tribe of rewarding and real friends. You have totally got this. Hello and welcome back to the How to Make Friends podcast, and you're back with me, Gemma, and today we're talking all about self-care in friendships. Now, self-care has taken a weird turn in the modern world. It's been labelled as baths, as doing a face pack now and again, maybe lighting a candle, but today we are diving into real self-care. I'm talking about the messy self-care, the healing self-care, the kind of self-care that stops us getting burnt out and leaves us feeling fulfilled, happy, and like we can face life every single day. Because let's face it, life gets busy, life gets stressful, so we need these things in place to support us and to take care of our own mental and physical well-being. So self-care isn't really the easy bits. It can be actually really messy. And when we think of forms of self-care, you know, the usual ideas come up like meditation, pampering, exercise. But one thing that's easily overlooked, which is just as important, is your friendships. And especially being selective over the people you choose to keep in your life, because they have such a huge impact on how you live every day, how you spend your time, how you spend your energy, and whether ultimately you feel supported by them. So whether you realize it or not, the company you surround yourself with can impact you in such significant ways. And let's face it, life is way too short for crap friends. So I'm here today to remind you to not limit your social circles to people that don't fulfill you, but actually fill your community around you with people that make you feel safe and seen and like a solid support system. So let's dive into 5 self-care methods in friendship. Now, these come in 2 parts. There's the part where actually having friends and investing in friendships really turns out to be a massive form of self-care in itself. And then there's the other part where how you behave in your friendships and how you treat those friendships and manage those friendships is also a huge part of self-care as well. So let's start with why friendships are just a good idea. And if you don't need any more convincing by now, here we go. And the first one is that when you have friends, it makes you make friend dates. And friend dates give you, firstly, the time scheduled out in your diary to go do something for you. And when we hang out with our friends, it provides this lovely space to be ourselves. I'm a huge believer that in our friendships, we get support that we couldn't get from close people around us as well. So, for example, family. And this is why you need external people in your life. I think a lot of people get stuck in playing that family role and just having their partner and the kids and being busy with that side of things. But actually, it's so essential to have friendships externally too, because these are people that can give a completely different viewpoint on your life or your support system, or maybe they knew you before you even got into the family. Maybe they knew you from a child. Sometimes friends know us so well that we can really take advantage of that, because they can be the people that remind us of who we are and what we stand for. So making friend dates actually means that we give ourselves time and space to be ourselves and to enjoy ourselves. A huge part of adult life is just juggling everything. Juggling cleaning, juggling eating, juggling plans, juggling sorting everyone else out in the family. And it leaves not much time to just be ourselves and, most importantly, just to have fun. And life flies by and we can kind of get to a point where we're like, actually, I can't even remember the last time I had some fun. So this is your reminder to go make some friend dates. If there are people you've lost touch with who you actually really love, if there's people you just haven't hung out with, maybe you've been guilty of just wanting to stay indoors, this is the time to go make those friend dates because you will not regret it. Number 2 on my self-care methods in friendship list is the ability to make memories. This is the best thing about friendship. Sharing stories and making memories is the best. And doing fun things will certainly create memories. And that's what life is about. We never remember, oh, wow, yeah, remember the time when I cleaned the house real good? We remember like, oh my gosh, remember when we went to that festival, we went out for that really nice dinner, or oh my God, that funny thing happened. The best self-care method in friendship is having the ability to make memories. And this all comes off the back of just having fun and letting go. And that's what the space of friendship allows us to do. It allows us to be authentically us. And we don't have to play any role in friendship. Friendships are mutual. It's meeting each other in the middle. And it's just being us and being accepted for who we are. That is so, so beautiful. Of all the millions of people in the world, you meet one other human and you're like, I really like you. And they're like, I really like you. And you're both like, let's be friends. And how cool is that? So I think that a huge part of self-care in friendships is just making you feel good. And it's kind of a mutual thing where you both just aim to make each other feel good. And that is what friendship is all about. This leads me nicely on to point number 3, actually, which is, I was thinking it works in reverse. So if you are feeling supported, safe, fulfilled, and happy in your friendships, that fills up your cup. Suddenly you have this overflowing feeling of joy and peace that you can then use in other aspects of your life. So sometimes when we're feeling at rock bottom or like we've completely forgotten how to practice self-care, go see a friend. Even on my baddest of days, when you make a plan with a friend or you're meant to be meeting for coffee or something like that and you're just like, I cannot be bothered today. I always make myself go. If I've made a commitment with a friend, I will always go because I know I will feel so much better afterwards. And this is where you can really identify the people who are your true friends or the people that use you as almost like a therapist. Because if you come away from friend meetups feeling worse than when you went there, that person isn't necessarily turning up to your friendship in a mutual way. But I see life as too short, so I want people around me to fill me up, make me feel good, make me happy. And if I meet up with a friend and they don't make me feel good, then I kind of just don't want them in my life. It's really as simple as that. So the people that I do have in my life and the close friendship circle that I keep are all people I can definitely rely on to make me feel better. And that doesn't mean I go there hoping that they'll be my therapist or do anything revolutionary, but sometimes they can support me in certain ways, or sometimes they just fill me with joy. And it's just nice to reminisce over our friendship or tell stories and just kind of forget life for a while. I think that's a real good thing about friendship. It can be an escape. You know how we all I think it's like a human instinct, especially maybe in like modern world of like being so busy and chaotic. We look for an escape, and where some people look for it in the wrong places through, say, over drinking or drugs or habits that aren't good for you, friendships can be a really amazing escape that can be the best thing for you. So friendships can be really used as a self-care in a way of healing and making you feel good and just dropping a little bit of joy into every day. Now moving on to my last 2 points, and these are more about self-care methods within our friendships, and I've lightly brushed over these so far anyway, but number 4 is to set boundaries. And having friendships and managing friendships actually allows us to realize what our boundaries are. So a really good self-care lesson from friendships is what we're willing to do, what we're not willing to do, how we're willing to turn up for others, and how we want others to turn up for us. Again, friendships should be a mutual thing where you feel like you get out of it as much as you're putting into it. And it's really important to be self-aware to put stuff into friendships and not feel like you just need to lean on your friends to cheer you up all the time. And a good way of doing that is setting our boundaries. So it's a real skill, especially within self-care, to realise what works for us. And I think friendships is a great way to firstly work out what does work for us, but secondly, implement that. We have to realise what we want and what we don't want and actually do something about it. And that could be the hardest bit, I get that. But setting our boundaries are literally essential for self-care because it means you're not overstretching yourself. And like I said, having good people in your life can fill your cup up in the quickest way. So always think about how you're managing your friendships, and how you're managing your friendships actually results in the longevity of them. Sometimes we let friendships fizzle out and we think, oh, the friendship just fizzled out, whereas actually sometimes the energy and the input wasn't there, or maybe it just didn't matter as much anymore. So setting boundaries is essential for our self-care, not only in friendships, but in every other area of our life. But I think friendships can be a good place to start in being able to have those more difficult conversations and just giving us that chance to step back and realise what we do and don't want and what we're willing to do. And that takes me really nicely onto point number 5 on the self-care methods in friendship, which is to end friendships when they're done. The best thing you can do for yourself is end a friendship when it's just done. When both of you are not feeling the same way, whether you feel like it's fizzled out, whether you feel like that person just isn't the same, and that's okay. We're humans. Life goes on, and unfortunately we do change. Sometimes I think back to like a couple of months ago and I'm like, wow, I'm not even the same person, let alone 10 years ago when I started this friendship. And people will either grow together or grow apart, and that's just a part of life. But the best thing you can do for your self-care is make decisions and go through with them. So if you've decided a person just isn't for you anymore and the friendships come to an end, the best thing that you can do to care for yourself first is to put an end to that. And sometimes we have to end friendships that we feel like are done and other people don't feel like they're done. But it's the best way to make sure that we're putting ourselves first and making ourselves happy. Because ultimately, in this world, we are born alone, we die alone. So the person that we need to look after and put first is ourselves. I really hope you've enjoyed this episode because our relationships and our community are absolutely vital for our emotional well-being. So remember, prioritizing seeing your friends is an important part of self-care. I'm now going to head over to the How to Make Friends Patreon, where I'm going to talk all about ending friendships, because that is such a tough thing to do. And I'm going to talk you through how to do it, why you should do it, and just create a lovely support bubble in there if you are going through a friendship breakup right now. As always, you have totally got this. If you're feeling inspired from this episode, you will love the How to Make Friends Patreon. Join me to continue the conversation on today's topic, receive exclusive content on the How to Make Friends private podcast, and gain access to juicy personal stories from my year-long friendship project. Find me at www.patreon.com/howtomakefriends. See you there.